Hello player, today we will analyze the match between Hikaru Nakamura with the white pieces and Aleksandrov with the black pieces. c4. e6. Knight c3. Knight f6. e4. d5. e5. d4. E captures on f6. D captures on c3. B captures on c3. Queen captures on f6. Knight f3. b6. d4. Bishop b7. Bishop d3. h6. Kingside castling. Knight d7. Knight d2. Bishop d6. Queen g4. Queen g5. Queen h3. Queen e7. Knight e4. Bishop a3. Queen g3. Queenside castling. c5. Bishop captures on c1. C captures on b6. A captures on b6. Rook from f captures on c1. e5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight f6. For example, knight f6. Rook e1. Knight captures on e4. With a balanced game. e5. f4. f5. Knight d2. e4. Bishop b5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop f1. For example, bishop f1. Queen g5. Knight c4. With an advantage for white. Bishop b5. g5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was queen g5. For example, queen g5. Queen e3. King b8. With a balanced game. g5. Queen e3. Knight f6. This move was inaccurate, the best move was f4. For example, f4. Queen e2. e3. With an advantage for white. Knight f6. f5. f4. Queen e2. e3. F captures on e3. This move was inaccurate, the best move was a6. For example, a6. Bishop a8. Rook e1. With a decisive advantage for white. F captures on e3. Queen captures on e3 check. Queen captures on e3. F captures on e3. Knight c4. Knight d5. a6. Bishop a8. Knight e5. Rook from h, f8. Bishop e2. c5. D captures on c5. King c7. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight f4. For example, knight f4. Rook e1. B captures on c5. With a balanced game. King c7. Knight c4. B captures on c5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop c6. For example, bishop c6. Rook e1. B captures on c5. Bishop f3. Rook f4. Knight a5. Bishop a8. Knight b7. Bishop captures on b7. A captures on b7. g4. Bishop captures on d5. Rook captures on d5. Rook from a, b1. King b8. Rook captures on e3. Rook f8. Rook e6. Rook from f, d8. Rook captures on h6. Rook d1 check. Rook captures on d1. Rook captures on d1 check. King f2. Rook c1. King G3. Rook captures on C3 check. King captures on G4. C4. With a decisive advantage for white. B captures on C5. Rook A5. King C6. Rook E1. Knight captures on C3. This move was inaccurate, the best move was Rook E8. For example, Rook from D, E8. A7. Knight captures on C3. Rook A6 check. King C7. Bishop H5. Rook E4. Knight captures on E3. Bishop B7. Rook captures on H6. Rook E7. Bishop G4. Rook A8. Rook H5. Rook G8. With an advantage for white. Knight captures on C3. Bishop F3 check. That was a good move, he doesn't let the advantage slip away. Rook captures on F3. G captures on F3. E2. King F2. Rook D4. Knight E5 check. King B6. Rook A3. Knight B5. Rook E3. Bishop D5. Rook from 3, captures on E2. King captures on A6. Rook B2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was Knight D7. For example, Knight D7. Knight C3. Rook C2. Knight D1 check. King E2. Bishop C4 check. Rook captures on C4. Rook captures on C4. Rook captures on D1. King B5. Rook B1 check. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook B2. Rook B4. Rook D2. Rook D4. Rook C2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was Rook B2. For example, Rook B2. Rook B4. Rook C2. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook C2. C4. King E3. Rook H4. Rook B1. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was Rook D1. For example, Rook D1. Bishop E6. Rook D8. C3. Rook B8. Bishop B3. Rook C1. Bishop A4. Knight G6. Rook B4. Knight E5. C2. Knight D3. Rook H4. Knight C5 check. King A7. Rook B7 check. King A8. Rook D7. King B8. Knight captures on A4. Rook captures on H2. Rook D3. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook B1. C3. Knight D3. King A5. Rook A1 check. King B6. Rook F2. Knight D4. Rook B1 check. King C7. Knight B4. Bishop captures on F3. Rook C1. Knight E2. Rook C2. Bishop H5. Knight D5 check. King D6. Knight captures on C3. Rook H3 check. King D2. Knight D4. Rook B2. Knight F3 check. King C1. Knight E5. This move was inaccurate, the best move was Knight E1. For example, Knight E1. Rook from F, D2 check. Knight D3 check. King C2. King C6. With a balanced game. Knight E5. Rook F6 check. King C5. Knight e4 check. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight a4. For example, knight a4 check. King d4. Rook b4 check. Knight c4. Rook d6 check. King e5. Rook captures on h6. Knight d6. Rook b2. Knight e4. Rook c2. With an advantage for white. Knight e4 check. King d4. Knight f2. Rook c3 check. Rook c2. Rook captures on c2 check. King captures on c2. Bishop g6 check. King d2. h5. King e2. g4. King f1. Bishop c2. King g2. h4. The evaluation became 3.1. This was a serious mistake, the best move was knight g6. For example, knight g6. King g3. Bishop b1. With a balanced game. h4. Rook h6. h3 check. King g3. Bishop e4. The evaluation became 4.9. This was a serious mistake, the best move was bishop a4. For example, bishop a4. Knight captures on h3. Knight f3. Knight f2. Bishop b5. With a decisive advantage for white. Bishop e4. Rook d6 check. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight captures on e4. For example, knight captures on e4. King captures on e4. Rook f6. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook d6 check. King e3. Knight d1 check. King e2. King f4. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was knight c3. For example, knight c3 check. King e3. Knight d1 check. King e2. Knight c3 check. King e3. Knight captures on e4. Knight c4. Rook e6. King d4. Knight f2. With a decisive advantage for white. King f4. Bishop f3. Knight c3 check. King f1. Rook d2. Knight g6 check. King g3. Knight e7. Knight b5. King e1. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight f5. For example, knight f5 check. King f4. Bishop g2. King captures on g4. King e1. Rook d3. King e2. Rook a3. Knight e3 check. King f4. Knight f1. Knight d4 check. King f2. Rook a2 check. King g1. Knight f3 check. Bishop captures on f3. King captures on f3. Knight captures on h2 check. King g3. Knight f1 check. King captures on h3. Knight e3. Rook b2. Knight c4. With a balanced game. King e1. Rook a2. Knight c6. The evaluation became 3.4. This was a serious mistake, the best move was knight f5. For example, knight f5 check. King f4. Knight e7. Knight d4. Knight d5 check. King g3. Bishop d1. Rook a5. Knight c3. Rook e5 check. King d2. King h4. King d3. Knight f5. Bishop e2. Knight h6. Knight e4. Knight captures on g4. Bishop f1. Rook e8. Bishop g2. Rook f8. King d2. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight c6. Rook b2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was rook a4. For example, rook a4. King d2. Knight d6. Knight e5. Knight f5. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook b2. King f1. The evaluation became 3.4, this was a serious mistake, the best move was knight e5. For example, knight e5. Rook b1 check. King d2. Knight d4. Bishop e4. With a decisive advantage for white. King f1. Rook d2. King e1. Rook d6. King f1. Rook e6. Knight d8. Rook e3. This move was inaccurate, the best move was rook e5. For example, rook e5. Knight c6. Rook e6. Bishop g2. King captures on g4. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook e3. Knight c6. This move was inaccurate, the best move was knight c6. For example, knight c6. Rook e8. Bishop g2. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight c6. Rook e8. Bishop e2. This move was inaccurate, the best move was bishop g2. For example, bishop g2. King captures on g4. King f2. Rook f8 check. King e1. With a decisive advantage for white. Bishop e2. Knight d6. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was knight c3. For example, knight c3. Bishop d3. Rook e3. Bishop c4. Knight e4. Bishop e2. Rook c3. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight d6. Knight d4. Knight e4. King g1. Knight c3. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was knight d6. For example, knight d6. King f1. Rook e4. Knight f3. Rook a4. Bishop d1. Rook a2. Bishop b3. Rook f2 check. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight c3. Knight f5 check. King f4. Bishop f3. King captures on f5. King captures on h2. King f4. King g2. Knight e2. h2. Knight g3. King h3. The evaluation became 3.6, this was a serious mistake, the best move was king f2. For example, king f2. Rook b8. h1. Rook b2 check. King e1. Knight captures on h1. Bishop captures on h1. King captures on g4. Bishop d5. With a balanced game. King h3. Rook h8 check. King g2. Rook b8. King h3. Rook b5. Bishop e2. Rook b3. Bishop d1. Rook a3. This move gives back part of the advantage, the best move was rook c3. For example, rook c3. King g2. Rook d3. With a decisive advantage for white. Rook A3. Bishop F3. Knight H1. King H4. Knight F2. This move gives back part of the advantage. The best move was Rook A2. For example, Rook A2. King H5. Rook captures on H2 check. King G6. Knight G3. King F6. Knight F5. King F7. Rook D2. With a decisive advantage for white. Knight F2. Bishop E2. Rook E3. Bishop D1. Rook E1. G3. Rook captures on D1. G2. Rook D6. White's victory. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave your suggestions.